those pictures, I took the picture, of course, but it was like the energy in those pictures was something I couldn't direct, that was just something natural
Yeah,
that took place. And I was just happy to be there to capture it. I think I had a small role, but it was big just to see everybody out there.
absolutely. All right, well, welcome back to What the Frout. I'm your host Jay Zilla, and with me I have the beautiful, talented, wonderful Jay Lee. Wait, can I say Jalicia Gales? What is it?
No, it's Jay Lee.
It's Jay Lee, just Jay Lee.
Yep, Jay Lee.
Oh Lord, I already gotta edit some crap. Is that my main man? Is Jimi Hendrix in the background?
Yeah, you know it.
Yeah, boy.
Wait, I thought it was Bob Marley. Oh, that's probably nobody was commenting on my picture. I said it was Bob Marley, but it's Jimi Hendrix.
Yeah, man. It's pretty iconic.
I'm
That guitar
slow.
itself. If you just posted that guitar alone, that's probably what they'll be thinking about. Him
Yeah,
playing it.
I was.
That's a
Yeah.
famous shot of him playing it upside down, which is ridiculous. How hard is a
Oh
guitar to
wow.
play? And you play that mug upside down behind his back, set that mug on fire. Like that dude is a rebel. He
I
was
love it.
he was not playing. So yeah, Jimi Hendrix. Yeah, man. So who came up with the concept for who does these things? Like come up with these different concepts. 25 Men in Suits, your Juice series, all of these things. Like what place is that coming from?
Well, Brandon came up with the 25-minute suits. Like I said, I was just glad to be asked to take the pictures. But Juice, it was I created Juice, but we all come together and try to focus on what we should be focused on for the month.
Mm,
How we want to rebrand ourselves and push ourselves. So it's a team effort. Everything I do is like always somebody like, yeah, do it, or hey, yeah, this is a good idea. I think you'll be great at it. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
So
yeah.
I wish I could take the credit for all those beautiful ideas and
No, you
things,
don't.
but
Let me tell you something.
yeah, I do.
You one of the most cockiest, humblest people I've ever met in my life. I don't
That's the way
understand
to
how you find
be.
that mix. You know,
It's called balance. That's the word this year is
balance.
balance.
That
You
is.
know.
Now, if you would have read the questions I sent you, that was our second question.
Ah, that's funny. We're
Yeah.
on the same
So
page.
I'm glad.
See.
Great minds thinking like they say. So when
Hmm.
you talk about balance, talk to me and how do you balance the 9 to 5, the family, the social life, and the different. You have so many other, I guess you could say, irons on in the fire, right? How do you
Hmm.
find balance between all that? How do you stay well rested, motivated, and organized?
That is a very good question because that's something I've always struggled with is finding balance and learning how to balance
Mm,
things. It's really the balance comes from me just wanting to do something different, like wanting to change the
mm,
world in my perspective. So it's like, hey, if you want this done, you have to do these X, Y, and Z to get there. So now the motivation comes from my friends, my circle, my daughter, like everything, everybody around me. I have the right people. And I'm gonna say that having the right people around you is key to success,
mm-hmm.
like to balance, to motivation, to ideas, to everything. Having that relationship with people on the same wave as you
Right.
is key. I can't even, I do take a lot of notes. I try to write things down, try to plan my day out. Now, going back to actually look at it. So
Oh
I'm
yeah.
working on that. But, that's why I said like this year it's all about execution. It's all about getting it done. I have everything I need. I have the formula. I have the people. It's just time to get stuff done now, and consistently.
Mm,
So balance is very important and it's hard for anybody, especially parents and people who have other obligations to, achieve balance. But it can get there. I mean, you just a lot of prayer, a whole lot
Mm-hmm.
of praying.
Mm-hmm.
So, without my prayer life, I don't think I would be anywhere as near where I am now. But yeah, it's it's hard, but it can be done.
Yeah, and that's the thing. We look to our government officials and all these different people, and we often get back the reply that, well, it's hard, right? COVID is out here, but yeah, other countries have, gotten it in the bearably under control. But, we have 300 plus million people in this country. It's hard, right? And that turns my stomach hearing it's hard. On
Yeah.
the flip side, the other side of that coin, you have people talk about it's hard not to stay on the go. It's hard to get sleep. It's hard to
Hmm.
rest. My favorite example in the world is a lady, Adriana Huffington, owner of Huffington Post and a myriad of different other things, right?
Hmm.
She was talking about, she's $1 billion entity in herself, her own right, right? Powerful woman, in charge, super disciplined. And she was in her office
That's
and
key.
started shaking and then passed out, almost dying because she wasn't sleeping. And she was like, what
Yeah.
use is acquiring all these different things and levels and opening all these invisible doors if I'm not here to enjoy it, pass it on to somebody, and bring other people up with me? You know,
Right.
so if she's thinking
Exactly.
along those lines, I mean, it's something to that. It's something to that balance.
Hmm.
That needs to be everybody's resolution and whatever.
Yeah.
Everyone's goal. Find the balance. So
Yeah.
now in finding that balance with you, Miss J. Lee, how in the world, like, are you the type to have 100 different things going and like, okay, I just keep it all the plates spinning and it's gonna be okay? Or are you at a point in your life now where you're more willing to say no to things and just keep it, stay in the box to make sure things are being completed?
Yeah, saying no is another one of my things I'm working on.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I'm to a place now where if I do say no, or I don't necessarily say no, but I can direct you to the right place who can help you. You know what I'm saying? I'm more of a curator.
Mm.
So I curate a lot of things where it's not so much pressure on me, and I stay inside my box that I know I can complete these things. So let me stay here, and I'm gonna show you who else can help you with X, Y, and Z. Like I said,
Mm.
having that community around you, your peers, and the people who are on the same wave, it's important because that way you can delegate different, activities and events and things like that you would love,
Right.
to see come to fruition, but can't necessarily put that time and work in like you would want to. But yeah, now I'm like, I have this big to-do list every day. I write a to-do list out and I'm like, okay, under J Lee, under my personal life, I'm gonna make sure I accomplish this with Julie, accomplish this with myself. I gotta take care of me first because with who's the old girl? What's that girl name? I'm
Adriana
playing.
Huffington. Yes.
Yes, her. Like her, I can't you can't, you gotta take care of self before
Mm-hmm.
anything else. Feeding my spirit physically. I try to work out every day, which is another hassle of mine. But I try to work out every day. I try to work my daughter out every day. I try to make sure she has enough time. And then after that list is done, I go into Jubilee Entertainment. Then I go into Juice. And then I go into NAACP. And then the other things that may be, coming up that I have to assist with. So
Mm.
it's just writing this stuff out because you have to write down. You have to take notes. You have to write it
Mm-hmm.
out to make it plain for yourself, to make it plain for your team, and just start. And that's all I do. I look at this list every day. I'm like, okay, what haven't I done today? Well, can I be done
Mm.
tomorrow? Can I just push this one off a little bit? Like, nah, you got to
Procrastination.
finish it today. Oh,
That's
ooh,
big for
that's
me.
that's
Yeah.
another trait.
It's definitely in the DNA. Oh yeah.
That's another trait.
What you need to do is
Yeah.
just shout out to our sister, our youngest sister, Jasmine. Yeah, we gotta get her.
Yes.
I try to, snatch her up for an assistant. But
That's gonna be hard. Oh no, she the truth, man. I'm telling you.
man, I sure tried. I tried to poach her so bad. I was like, man, you can come to New Mexico for a month or two. In the back of my mind, like forever.
Right.
You know, like, and mom sniffed it out right away. It's like, she's a grown woman. She can do what she want. Glare, 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 glare.
All right. And just did the blinking, like, hold up. Well, no.
That's the truth, man. But I'm gonna circle back to self. A lot. What are you saying to people who may think that's I guess maybe look at it as a selfish thing more than you needing to have that self attitude so you can help people around that. What are you telling those people?
Be selfish. You got to. Like, you gotta put self first. Like, always. I don't care. Anything you do, you gotta put yourself first. And putting yourself first is like saying, hey, am I mentally stable? Am I spiritually stable? Am I physically stable to do anything that come my way? And that's why I mean, like, be selfish in those areas. You ain't gotta, like, not be generous to your community and things like that, but you gotta stay within your means. It is so important. And I learned this along the way. You know, I'll be trying to do huge events that's way outside of my budget, way outside of what I can do, which I always get it done. Shout out to the team again.
When there's a will, there's a way.
When there's a will, there's a way. And if it's God's way, it's gonna happen. Period. Like, it might not happen in the time that you want it to happen, but it's gonna happen in the time that, you know, that fits, that's supposed to happen, you know. So I'm all about what's supposed to be will be, you know. And if you try to force anything outside of that, you probably won't be as successful as you would like.
Right.
And you probably feel like along the way that you're not as successful as you should be, but only time, God controls the time, you know. And I really lean on that. Like, hold up, you know, I might think I'm slowing down, which you know, we do alter things in our life.
Amen to that.
So you do slow down some of your blessings, but doesn't mean it's not going to happen, you know. And I'm just such a lover of the unknown and just life in general. So I like going into things, not knowing how it's going to work out. It's a challenge for me to make sure it does happen.
You sound like an adventurer.
You know?
You know, an adventurer.
I am.
Yeah. Yeah, you like that, you know, it's almost a thrill of the grind. And then once it's done, it's like, whew, that was good. Yep. Now what else is next?
Exactly.
You're still searching for that next high. Yeah.
Even when I walked across the stage, graduating from college, everybody's like, "Oh, this is such a huge event," and I'm like, "Well, now what? You know, it's done.
Right?
So
okay, gotta do something else.
So, you know, what's that?
Celebrated for like 3 hours at the parties.
Exactly.
Like, all right, time to get to work now.
Yeah, like, what's next now? It's more work to do because I'm not a millionaire yet. So until then, it's grind time. Even then, it's like I want to make sure I leave a legacy for my future kids and grandkids, and if the world is still going to be around that time.
So when you're talking about taking care of self, it's more along the lines of, you know, you're in the airplane. It's a scenario, it's an old one, and I give it to my daughters often. You're in I give them the scenario. You're sitting there, you know, you got your child, you have 2 children, one on each side. You know, there's some turbulence. The oxygen masks, you know, they drop down. Who are you putting the mask on first? And they were like, oh, my child, of course, right?
No.
You have to put yours on first, so then you're able to help others. So that's my favorite example with that, you know. And the whole fixing the world thing, you know, you can't fix the world till you clean your room. You know, we talked about this before, and you got to make sure house is okay. Family okay, make sure you're okay with God, make sure you're okay with self, and then you just incrementally expand out. Okay, let me check on, you know, the kids. Okay, let me check on, you know, outside, the neighbors, and so on and so forth. You know, until you're Bill Gates and you're eradicating diseases. You know, that's a very interesting thing. So what are the pitfalls of being an entrepreneur and self-made woman?
I would say, you know, some of the roadblocks in being an entrepreneur, things you need to watch out for is, of course, the people around you. I keep pushing people because, like, nobody's successful without a team. I don't care what they say. I don't care if they feel like they're self-made. Somebody was pushing you to get to where you are, you know? So definitely who you're surrounding with, definitely making sure your vision is clear cut and written down and have this a strategy behind your business or behind your ideas. Um, Definitely time, I would say. Like time management is key to it all.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I don't know. Let me think. It's been a lot of things, a lot of roadblocks that's happened. My bishop, he always says, if your vision it's not a vision unless it's outside of your pockets. So if it's something that you feel like you can't achieve, or you feel like you don't have the money for it, then that's probably something that you need to stick with, because that's what the harder things are God given. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I always say that. I tell my daughter this all the time. Like, hey, the harder the task, the bigger the reward.
Oh, that's
Okay.
good. That's good. That's a
And because she's
T-shirt
all like,
right
I
there.
don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. It's so hard. I said, but the reward at the end is
Mm-hmm.
what you're fighting for. So not dwelling so much on those things that are holding you back, and focusing more on the things that can make it happen.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times people don't start ideas because they're stuck in their head like, how's this gonna happen? I'm not gonna be able to, or they think of every reason why they can't versus thinking about every reason why they can.
Mm-hmm.
So your mind, it's all, man, your mental has to be strong. And I feel like, we get put into certain situations where we test our mental, where we are being pushed in different areas that we don't have any idea as to why we're going through it. But when you keep going through it and get through it, you will realize, like, oh my gosh, that's what I was being prepared for.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's such a beautiful thing too to see, like, okay, I went through this to prepare me for this. Now I know how to
Mm.
talk to certain people. Now I know how to deal with certain people, and I overcame all the obstacles. So
I
it's
like
a
you
beautiful
to.
thing at the end of the day.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
I would like for you to elaborate on one, people, and then two, what do you mean by excuse me, your mental has to be strong. So let's start with people first. Do you have an example of a bad trait that you want to, that's a red flag for you personally, and a good trait that makes you think like, oh, I have to work with this person, without
First,
any
people who's
names,
actually
of
are,
course.
yeah, I don't name drop. They know who they are now. Don't get it twisted. Now, but first, people who's actually out doing something already. You don't
Mm.
want, and I learned this by reading Bishop Joseph Walker the
Mm-hmm.
third is like my mentor. I listen to him for everything. I read everything that he does because he's such an example of how I want to be, and when it comes to business and
Mm.
just making sure things are done, organization, everything he does is just such a powerful thing to me. So I read a book back in the day, and I wish I would have read the book when I first started juice. I was like, where was this book in 2015,
Oh.
2011, whenever I started thinking about the idea.
Mm.
But you definitely want to get people who are already out working and doing things in the community or whatever field you're trying to get into.
Mm-hmm.
You want to get people who's already there, somebody who you can actually learn from, not people you got to teach.
Yeah.
Not saying it's wrong. You can get some people who's actually, motivated to get to where you are, and you can teach them to come on, but you don't want to reach out to people who aren't doing much. And I learned
Mm-hmm.
that the hard way too, because it was so hard for me to like say, come on, we got to get this done. We need to do this. We need to do that.
Mm-hmm.
They're not motivated, because it's not their fault. It's just, they're not doing what I'm wanting to do. You know what I'm saying? So,
Right.
definitely those type of people. If they're positive, you want to make sure you stick with the positive people. Anybody who is, negatively speaking about anything, you want to stay away from,
Right.
because there's ways to talk about things without, and I had to learn that myself, because I had an issue where I was like, man, I was pretty negative, and I didn't even realize how negative I was until I surrounded myself with people who weren't negative. And I'm like,
Mm.
oh shoot, my mindset kind of jacked up. Let me get. That's where the mental come in.
Right.
that's
So
where
so what you're
that's
saying
where the
is,
mental come in.
are you saying it's scale then? Like for me, when people look at my kids like, prehistoric dinosaurs, right? Like, oh my goodness, they're so big. I'm like, really? You know, but then when we ask, exchange ages and stuff, like how old are they? 5 and 6. Like no, 1 and 4. And like, really? And it's like, well, how old are yours? Well, this
Another
one's 7
trait.
and this one's 9. And then like look at each other in their eyeballs. It's like, oh, okay. Now I have the scale. I guess they are big for their age.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the scale. What's an example of a bad like energy around you? Like, give me an example of a situation where you just like, no, thanks but no thanks.
Like I said, people who focus on the why they can't versus why they can. Like I
Mm.
remember one time I was doing, I was hosting an event and we didn't have certain things, and the negatives they were focusing on. Oh, we don't have it. Versus
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, but we do have this instead. You know what I'm saying? So instead of like people who find a way out in a positive manner. You know what I'm saying? That's
Mm.
the people you need to focus on versus the people who are gonna focus on what's not happening.
I like that. I like that. So I wrote down, watch out for people that when they focus on why they can't instead of how they could.
Right.
How about
Yes.
that?
Yeah, that's beautiful. Even I was even there. I was like, man, I'm not gonna be able to do this because this is and that. Versus
Oh
like,
yeah.
hey, maybe I should look at research and do some things. Just research. When I say I jumped into stuff without researching and it bit me in the butt later. I was like, wait a minute, I should have really like sat and researched what I wanted for
Mm-hmm.
real and how I wanted it to go. And I feel like, when you really know how to do it and what you're doing and what you want to do, you're going to be so much more successful in that endeavor. So
Right.
yeah, you just gotta keep pushing.
Absolutely. Now, I'm gonna change gears here for a bit. I think I'm gonna start asking some of the same questions on different episodes because I'm really curious as to their creativity and how they see themselves. If you were a car personified, what car would you be?
A car,
Yeah,
I'd
make,
probably be a
model.
truck.
Uh,
um, Heavy duty, can carry anything. I can get to point A. I'm the most reliable um truck out here. I'm like I'm the old beat up truck that you can't let go of, the people can't let go of, still out here kicking. Like, man, that truck done been through so much, but it's still out here carrying luggage and loads of moving stuff left and right. Like, yeah, that's
right.
that's me. I'm definitely like a reliable old school Chevy truck.
Old school Chevy. Got that Hemi in there though. Don't let it fool you. Don't let the outside
Don't
dents
let,
fool you. Underneath that
exactly.
hood
Don't
is
let
an
the
engine
dicks
for you.
fool you. Okay, like I will rev up on you for real. What's it
Oh
called? A
man.
burnout. Do a nice little burnout on you.
Yeah. Skirt out. Gone. Yeah. Man, look, so mine was a clown car.
A clown car. Now you know better.
But hear me out. Hear me out.
Okay.
Clown car pulls up. And it looks like a little toy, a little nothing. It's goofy. Like, what is this? But when those doors fling open and stuff just keeps coming and coming and coming, it's way more than you thought on the inside. Huh?
I like that. I like that.
Huh?
I can get
All
with
right.
that. I can get
I'm
with the
fun, but
clown
I'm
car.
packing.
Right. Don't get it twisted.
Yeah. Oh, and of course, Asher went with a Maserati. On the last episode, they were like, "Now, are y'all parking in the same garage?" I was like, "Nope. I got to park down the street and walk to the house." That's right,
Right.
man.
Oh, that is
All
so
right.
funny.
So,
I like
what's
that.
the, what's the worst thing you got caught doing
And what, you professional?
at all? See, this is why you got to prep, Miss J. Lee. Just period. What's the
Oh
worst thing you got caught doing?
man. The first memory come to my mind is stealing ice cream money from my mama. I remember stealing,
What?
like, she had a little change, she had a little coin change, whatever, she kept them
Yeah.
quarters on deck.
Oh yeah, for
Um
sure.
and I wanted some ice cream really bad. And every time I used to ask, it was always like, nah, nah, nah. So I was like, I'm getting me some ice cream today. So, and she caught me.
And she caught you?
Yes. And she was
Ooh,
like,
and you still
you just
alive?
ask. Yeah. She talked to me. She even with me. She was like, hey, you just need to ask. And, I know you wanted stuff, but, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
All of, that whole parent talk.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I would say that's probably the worst. That's the first memory that came to my mind. It's kind of like, ooh.
That
I
is.
was scared.
Oh, I bet. I was scared for you. Just she did what? Although
Yep.
this is the same person, ladies and gentlemen. This is an exclusive
I
right
knew you was
here.
gonna bring that up.
You know exactly where I'm going, right?
Yep. And it's crazy because Julie, my mama, she egged. Okay, go ahead with the story.
No, okay. I want to hear yours, so you can follow up with that story because I
Yes,
wanna hear that.
it's definitely a follow up.
At the what was it, Western Sizzler?
Yeah, the where Shoney's is now in Columbia.
Right.
Where it was in Shoney's, right? I don't know.
I don't know, whatever it was. We're at a restaurant, and your girl Jay Lee to my left here decides to pick up a cherry tomato. I don't know why I remember it so. I don't even know if that's exactly what happened, but in my mind it was a cherry
Yep.
tomato, and it had like ranch dripping off of it. And
Yep.
because mom had said something slick or smart, and you picked it up and like reared it back, and she says, "You better not." And before she finished, whack up right in the side of
And
the
the
face.
ranch just.
Oh my goodness! Equal parts, fear and just hilarity. I was all kinds of mixed emotions. Just wait, am I gonna get in trouble for this? Like, what's
All
about to
right,
happen?
am I gonna get in trouble for laughing? I should be like, Jeremy, tell me too.
Oh Lord, yeah. Oh, I share that story with my girls all the time about you tricking me into doing dishes for you
Oh yeah,
on
you
some
know,
Tom Sawyer
con
stuff.
artist. Right.
And Mama said you better do those dishes. Let me hear the
You
follow
clean
up. I need to
trash.
know the completion. Like, has this thing been passed down? Is it genetic? What happened with
Yeah.
Julie?
Unfortunately, my little brave child of mine, she's so bold. I don't even know where she get her bold. That's got to be from her daddy. So I'm not as bold as her. I would have never did. But anyways, I guess I did do it, huh?
Cherry tomato.
But
I'm about to say.
yeah. Right. I was like, I guess I did do it. So mom tells her about the story. So in her little mind, she's like, "Oh, I'm about to get her
Oh,
back.
we could do
I
that?
can't wait to do the same thing." Yeah. So I'm talking. Oh, I'm such a prankster. I love like playing and
Mhm.
stuff. So we was at a restaurant and I was playing with her. She was eating her ice cream. And I like pushed her head to her ice cream. Next thing you know, I just had this big gloop of ice cream just smacked me across my face.
Ooh.
And I was like, I couldn't do nothing but laugh because I just thought about that stupid
Like,
tomato
okay.
going down my mom's face. So it was payback,
Yeah.
even though she
Shout out to
definitely
Madam
got
X.
it right.
That is hilarious. All right, we're gonna switch the gears again. Best attribute, worst habit. Go.
My best attribute would have to be my understanding, like just knowing. I feel like I can connect with anybody because I can always understand where they're coming from. I don't care how much I disagree with it, but I feel like I can always put myself in their shoes, And because I do that, I build really good relationships. Um, some people don't understand it because they consider it as fake. Because I'm like, it's not fake because I'm not saying I would do whatever they're doing or I'm not agreeing with what they're doing, but I see where they're coming from.
Mm-hmm.
And I can also see where they're wrong. I can see where they could be, why they think they're right. I can just see so much. Like I have such a broad mind and that's like something that's helped me with everything, really. Like seriously. My worst habit, I'm so great. I don't even know. I'm just playing. Oh, I'm playing.
See, there it
My
is.
worst
There
habit.
it is.
You bring it out of me, I'm telling you. But my worst habit would have to be my procrastination, definitely. Putting things off to the last minute. Even though I feel like I work better at the last minute, people don't want their stuff at the last minute.
Okay, so as a coach, hearing that, what I usually tell my boys is like, yeah, you're good at improvising. You're an athlete. That's great. Imagine what kind of stats you will be putting up if you prepared.
Yep.
So I'm gonna give you that same little nugget. Like, could you imagine if you were super organized and whenever you did it, you didn't put off till tomorrow what you could have gotten done today, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah. I always say as soon as I get done with the project, I'm like, man, I could have did that weeks ago.
Right. When it's done, it's like, oh man, I'm tripping.
Man, I could have been had this done. Like, what am I doing? You know.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, that's probably one of my bad habits. Also, like biting my nails. Actually, I got really good with biting my nails, so I don't bite my nails no more.
The hot stuff on your fingers
So that's
didn't
good.
help, or were you just using that for flavor?
Nah, flavor. That was straight flavor. We said me and Jax be out in there. We taste that. You know, we like food. We foodies over here,
Right.
so that was good taste.
I know. Don't even get me started about that. We got to do a whole nother show to talk about our diet.
Man, yeah.
Yeah, man. There's definite room for psychoanalysis on our eating habits. Which
Really,
okay, briefly, Ash pointed out about how why is every time the girls get good grades, the boys are cleaning and mannerable, why is food always the reward?
True, that was the
and
reward.
I was like, it's not always the reward. Sometimes there are times when that one time I gave them that was a Sunday. Oh my goodness. Why are all the rewards tied up in food? You know, but that's gotta be another show. See that little tease there, get you back on.
But that's true because that's how me and Julie are. Like, she's like, "Oh, I did good in school. Let's go eat some crab legs."
Yeah.
I'm like, "Yeah."
Oh, that sounds so good. Oh my goodness. Let me tell you, that carnivore diet was brutal.
I can imagine.
Yeah. So, you who can put herself into anybody's shoes and understand them, why they think they're right and X, Y, Z. Break Trump down for me.
Hold up now.
put yourself in them 6.5 size shoes, and
Trump. You know, I'm not even. Let me go. I'm not gonna stunt now. Trump. I did not like his. I didn't like his. I didn't like him from a moral standpoint.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I feel like
the aesthetic of him, right?
Trump. Yeah, I feel like Trump was more so like, he all about the business, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm okay with it. I like business people.
Mm-hmm.
I never liked his delivery.
Mm-hmm.
His delivery sucked, even though it was very entertaining. Trump was probably the most entertaining president I've ever experienced.
I'm so glad you said that.
I used to be on his Twitter page all the time, like, what this man say today, you know? Want to know what he said, and I just feel like Trump was led by selfish things and business minded, and he was just morally incorrect to me. Like, I can't say Trump was a bad president other than his morals being out of whack, you know.
Okay, and this is where we disagree.
I can't step in his mindset.
Because let me tell you something, leaving thousands of jobs unappointed, not taking briefings about security and, just all that reeks of bad pencil pusher. And this is what drove me nuts about Trump. And the fact that he even became president is like, I want the boring pencil pushing person. I need somebody who's a bookworm, who loves doing all of the things, right? Being president is not really a job for any human being. I don't understand, like, this is a bad concept. But Trump morals, I mean, I get, but I don't really care about that either when it comes to being president, right? I mean, obviously your boy Bill Clinton didn't have very many morals, but he was well liked because he also was
But at least his morals his lack of morals didn't affect other people. You know what I'm saying? It affected his marriage, of course.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like Trump I feel like he wasn't for the people. He was just for self, and he wanted to make himself look good, and he wanted to make sure I need a war so I can be known as this type of president. He wasn't for people, and that's what I totally disliked about Trump.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like if he was morally correct, there's no way he would have made those same decisions that he made in office.
Right.
He helped Verizon. He got us looking real pretty. So
he helped Verizon. How many bonuses did you get or raises during his tenure?
Just one.
Just one. In 4 years?
Yeah. Nah. Well, no, we got but Verizon, without Trump, Verizon give you a bonus like every year. So, but I think like I can't remember how he affected. It made it where I can't remember what he did. I don't, political stuff is not my cup of tea.
That's
I
fine.
try
That's
to stay
fine.
away from it because I don't really look more into it. I don't do any research towards it.
Mm-hmm.
I just go off of Twitter,
Twitter.
unfortunately.
Yeah. Well, we won't linger here too long. I just know it's so interesting talking to people like you who are just sensible and like, here's how I took it. There it is.
That's
Without
just
all
what it
the
is. Yep,
emotional stuff,
exactly.
I don't know, but I know. Okay, yeah, we'll move on. We'll move on.
Please, because I'm
Right.
like, I can't. I don't. That man, like, that was crazy. He was entertaining,
He was
but
something.
crazy. Yeah, he
So,
was.
looking at, or let's go to I guess a lighter subject. Black Lives Matters. Go.
Go what? Go Black Lives. I'm all for Black Lives.
So I've been so concept wise, great. Organization, could use just like anything else could use some improvement, right?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, like even the history of Black Lives Matter, the two ladies who started it, they weren't really talking about police brutality or anything like that. It kind of evolved into that. And the name, catchy name, that's always easy to get the masses, right? Something you can put on a t-shirt, something you can chant, right?
Right.
What are you doing personally that you think that you're improving Black lives specifically and others, of course, but specifically Black lives?
I would say because I'm all for Black Lives. I am building things that can, what's it called? Push our race or our culture to another level, I guess you
Mm,
could say. Always showcasing our Black people that are doing positive things in the community. That's what Juice is about. Not just Black people, but we don't focus just on Black people, but we want that to be like, I guess, our lead role is to say, hey,
mm,
check out this Black restaurant, check out this Black artist, check
mm,
out, we just want to highlight all the Black people that are being successful. Like right now, we're doing a it's Women's History Month. Shout out to all my women out
whoop,
there.
whoop. Lord knows I love
So
them.
it's Women's History Month. We know. um, so it's a Women's History Month. So we've been showcasing a lot of women who are doing positive things in their community, just powerful women, people regarding mental health and business owners, community advocates. They are so far they all been Black. Of course, we gonna throw some different races in there because it's not just our race that's doing it.
Mm-hmm.
But just building something where our Black people can come to and say, hey, these people can help us, in
Mm-hmm.
any kind of aspect. Because that's my goal with everything. Like my purpose is to, excuse me, my purpose is to help, others reach their full potentials in whatever path they choose. And that's what I'm here for. And that's what I try to create. I try to create events and platforms for them, for Black lives. Definitely try to get the word out there about us because I feel like a lot of times, people just aren't educated enough.
Mm-hmm.
The other cultures, they just don't realize our struggle or realize what we've gone through or what we have to go through to get to where they are. So just keeping that open door to say, hey, look at us. Like we are here and we are important. We are as important as you. That's like one of my biggest goals, and that's what we try to work on within Juice and Columbia United. We just try to unite people and bring people together,
Mm-hmm.
all walks of life, but especially our Black lives.
I just finished maybe last week. Uh, it's a movie on HBO Max, Judas and the Black Messiah. Have you seen that yet?
I haven't seen it, no.
Strongly encourage it. It surrounds it's Black Panthers, the Chicago chapter at the center, but man, it encompasses so much. When you talk about what they were actually doing, and they had a lot of flaws, just like
Hmm.
any other organization. But the things that they were doing were very interesting. They really flipped the game. Like there's a scene in the movie, spoiler alert. You care about spoilers?
Nah,
All
I'm gonna
right.
watch
So
it regardless.
spoiler alert. There's a part in the movie where this guy is building his coalition. The people that it was like a gang who were tasked or famously tasked with the job of guarding Martin Luther King when he was there giving a speech. It was
Mm-hmm.
he went to what I could describe as a Klans meeting, right? And they're talking about, white power and all this sort of thing, but they're also, I mean, they got the Confederate flag, back there, and the guys at the podium, and they come in, the Black Panthers are lined up, and he was just like, look, basically, y'all are poor white people. You people in these labor jobs are also being mistreated. Like, what
Yeah.
happens if we get together and demand that we're treated the same as the rich white or rich black? This is a class issue, not a race issue.
Yeah, and I think that's what people are like confused. It's not about black or white. It's really, um, yeah, it's
Yeah.
really about the class issues, like equality overall.
Mm-hmm.
And nobody should be looked down upon, not even poor, not, you know.
Well, it's really tough because we
I
have to
just,
look at not just equality, especially equality of outcome. It has to be about a sliding scale, back to balance, right? Of equality and equability. Those are two different
yeah,
things, right? We may not have the same, like me in my house, I don't have the same exact duties, but we are doing some equitable things to make sure that this family as a whole is constantly moving forward and improving. And
exactly,
that's what we have to
exactly,
focus
and that's what
on.
needs to happen. Yeah, I
Absolutely.
totally agree.
Yeah, so Ash and I were watching something. I can't remember where I heard the initial someone's response to a question, which is if the quote unquote, and I'm loosely quoting, paraphrasing here, the quote unquote white man as the boogeyman. If that were true, then immigrants, right,
Mm,
African, Asians, and all these, the immigrants that come here and start from the bottom and work themselves up, how are they making it? And Asher had a really interesting, I guess, perspective on it. If perception is reality, right? And we have been told and shown through actions and legislation. I mean, going back to the dogs and the hoses, slavery, all these things. The entire American black experience has been you're less than, you're less than.
yeah.
Be glad that you're even here. You know, you should be
Mhm.
thanking your lucky stars for Jim Crow because it could be worse,
Mhm.
and it's definitely more than you deserve. That sort of thing
That's
sinks into the
crazy.
psyche because if perception is
Yep.
reality, then that means that is our reality. So we have to become just enamored with the work of. We have to go about the work of changing the perception, and what
Yeah.
you and
The
Brandon and
mindset. Yeah.
United and all those people did with that 25 men in suits. That's exactly what it was. When I look at that footage and see people like, hey man, hey, what's up? They're not saying like, oh boy, let me hide my wallet, lock my door. They're like, man, look at these good looking people walking down here. They mean business.
Yeah,
Something
it's
big is
changing
happening.
perceptions. Yep.
Changing the perception. Perception is reality. If I think you're talking smack, or if I think my daughter has rolled her eyes, she getting in trouble. Sorry. You have to. I'll tell my kids all the time. You have to go about making sure to check other people's perception, right?
Yeah,
Because if I
exactly.
think you're giving
Exactly.
me attitude, guess what? I'm the one who's holding all the power.
Yep.
So
And that's always my goal too, is to make sure that, hey, I'm not offending anyone,
mm-hmm,
make sure that whatever I'm saying can be received well,
mm-hmm,
and
mm-hmm.
anybody can receive it and grow from it. So yeah, we used to do our show. We're trying to bring that back too, but technical issues. That'll be back soon.
That's
But
good.
during our shows, that was that was one of our main focuses, to really just change mindsets. Like, that's in my description. We want to change mindsets,
Mm-hmm.
and the only way we can do that is being the change we want to see. I know that's such a cliche statement, but it's so real.
Yeah,
Um, you gotta change. You gotta start with self, before anybody else can take heed and take you serious and just start viewing you, like you said, changing that perception altogether.
absolutely. And I'm telling you, I'm very proud of you. I brag all the time that yeah, she's the little sister, but she's definitely my big sister. You're one that I look up to.
Oh,
Like, not even trying to be all rosy or anything, but honestly, your work ethic and your just get up and go. Like, I'm just now kind of finding my footing and like, okay, I can do this. One step at a time, baby step to the
yeah.
productivity. But I'm gonna share this story. When you had the situation where you couldn't afford some college books, And
Oh
you
yeah.
yourself were not one of those people who just like, well, my grades are bad because I don't have any books. No, 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 no. Jay Lee puts together a study group so she can utilize other
Yep.
people's books. It just
Yep.
blows my mind. It blows my mind, you know,
Yep.
and people like
I
you, I'm
stayed putting
glad to
groups
know.
together.
Yeah, man. The hustle
Well,
is
thank
real.
you.
The hustle is
Yeah, the
real.
hustle is real. And I think back on those times when I had to go through that, and I'm just like, man, if my mindset was different, I would have had money for my books and things. I'd rather go party.
Oh
I'd rather go
man.
throw big old parties,
See.
So it's like, it's growth. Growth is real, man. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm so thankful for growth because I didn't, a lot of times we struggle. We don't have to struggle. We put ourselves in those positions, because we don't know. We're not educated enough, or we don't have the right guidance, especially financially. I feel like in our race, our culture, Black people, we struggle in that area with finance because we don't have the right tools or the right guidance in that area. I feel like we grew up on a struggle bus. We just, hey, you gotta
Mm-hmm.
make it, you gotta make it, you gotta make it, and that's all we think about versus saving and how can I make this? Well, I guess we do make the dollar stretch because that's what we know them for, is to make something stretch.
Mm-hmm.
But how can I grow this dollar and continue to stretch it? You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like if we were to get together and build things where our youth will have better finance classes,
Mm-hmm.
or we focus more on, helping kids like myself who go off to college not being go off to college broke, be handed a lot of money like a refund check.
Right. Oh
Here go a
goodness.
bunch of money. What you gonna do with it?
Right.
Us broke kids, we got to like, I'm gonna go buy me some clothes. I haven't been able to do that. We go do the
Right.
things that we've always wanted to do versus taking that money and doing what we need to do.
Mm-hmm.
So I think those things will definitely help our culture grow as well. Just being more financial literate. You
Financially
know,
literate, absolutely. You know,
financially literate.
there's that saying out there. Oh man, how did it go? I don't want to mess this up. But anyway, I messed it up. So if you look at, I talked to a couple of engineers, one civil, one mechanical. Shout out Nuke and C Dot, right? Corin and Dexter Williams, and they were talking about consolidation of funds. And even their current living situation, they went, scoped out a neighborhood, say, oh, this is good. They got some growth going. That means if we buy here, it's going to increase in value. And then maybe we sell it, maybe we sit on it. Who knows?
Yep.
But him and his cousin, and I guess maybe one or two others, or I'm not sure of the exact number, got together, pooled their resources, and they live in a wonderful, beautiful house and neighborhood. Things like that. I
Wow.
look at that and think like, my question was, why are we not doing more of that? Especially when you look at places like L.A. and New York that has their Chinatowns and bodegas and all these different groups that are pulling their sources together, or resources together, and making something out of nothing. Out of the little bit that they've been
Hmm.
given, buying up blocks and blocks and blocks, putting their businesses and make sure they're selling their things that's going to teach, further, and cause to thrive their culture. And I was thinking
Yeah.
about this, and
And I feel like that's definitely. Hmm.
yeah, I was thinking about this. I think it's coming. It comes down to that mindset, that perception. I've been told so much that
Yep.
black people are X, Y, Z. That like, man, I can't trust that dude. He gonna steal my money. Like, we're thinking
I
about
was about
that
to say
about
that. It's trust.
ourselves.
Yep.
That's the game.
You're absolutely right. And Brandon and Paco, shout out to Who That
Who that?
Podcast. I was a guest on their show, and that's exactly what we talked about. They had a little phone that we passed around the table, and
Mm,
it stopped me. I'm like, but who's to say that this person's gonna do right by the money and get this person to do X, Y, and Z to get to where we really get to? So it's definitely like a trust thing that's an issue with our culture, and I feel like we did. It's I don't know why we're like that, but it's hard to find the right people to trust and say, hey, I'm gonna give my money to this person because I know for a fact it's gonna grow. I did that little stupid, what
mm.
is it called? The little triangle thing. What is it
Uh huh.
called? The little, you know what I'm talking
Oh,
about?
the
The little,
pyramid
hey,
thing.
you,
So things like these susus, I feel like anybody I was trying to get involved because I think the concept it sounds great, right? But then
yeah,
you
it
go
sounds
to that
amazing.
thing of you have to trust people to do their part. And honestly, I was one of the worst parts of that, right? Like as far as getting other people, right? Because it's one of those things that it's continuous. You have to keep, keep
Hmm.
investing. Um, and it's a thing that small countries run a good chunk of their economy on. So it's proven that it can work.
Yeah,
But here's the
that's what
interesting
I've
thing.
heard.
Yeah, but here's the interesting thing that I was talking about things like that with on another episode, and what they were saying is, I said, how do we do that? Like, how are we able to trust that everyone's gonna do their part? He said, oh, that's easy. He said, all you do is fill in the gaps of trust with a contract. And I thought,
Mm.
oh,
And nobody had a
oh,
contract.
contract. That's right. So in the
Yep.
case of the Susu, you have X amount of time to get X amount of people, right? Or you're essentially out the sue, right? Or whatever it's
Yeah.
called. I feel like I'm saying that wrong,
I
but
feel like you're saying it right, but I don't know.
man, yeah, but yeah. So when we're talking about that perception, yeah, you fill in those gaps of trust with a contract, and the person doesn't meet it, then it's a contractual. It's something that you have to. What is it called? Breach of contract, right? And then we
Yeah.
have very real, Judge Judy type things to fill in those gaps if they don't want to
Hmm.
honor said contract. So that's something that we can definitely, work on instead of just saying like, man, I just know this person has all the potential in the world, all the personality. They're great. If they just do this, you know what? I'm gonna give them a chance. And then you
Yep.
get
You're
you
right.
get screwed. And then it's like, man, I ain't never messed with that dude. You know what I mean?
Yep. That's
Yeah.
where I'm at.
But we can do that, man.
I might join it with a contract. Now I haven't did that. It seemed more professional too, and it seemed like if there is a contract
Hmm.
involved, I'll take it more serious.
Yeah. Well, I'm done with that sort of
So
thing, because I've done it before, and it's worked out a couple times. A couple times it did not. So I'm kind of on the fence about something like that. So my thing moving forward is basically trust my wife. She knows what the frap she's doing. Oh, frap, by the
I'm gonna
way.
start calling her.
Yeah. Yeah. She knows what the frap she's doing. Just look, we have a thing where we pool everything and she makes magic, I've been blessed
Yeah.
in my and fortunate in my choice of wife.
Yeah. Amen to that. A lot of
Amen
people
to
not.
that. Look, I'm gonna drink my little glass of water on that one.
Look, cheers to that. I'll cheers to you for that
Clink, clink,
one.
clink,
And she
clink,
a
clink,
Virgo.
clink. Ain't she a Virgo? Oh Lord, here we go. All
We
right.
the best out here, so it makes sense.
Sounds right. Sounds right. I can't argue with it. I got a large sample size. So before I let you go, talk to me a little bit about a couple of goals that you have and any promos.
So some goals that I have is really I'm working on trying to work with myself. So I'm learning how to, price things and
Mm.
strategize things. Can't talk much into what it's gonna be,
Hmm?
but just know it's coming, and it is gonna be juice. You know, what am I trying to say? Juice inspired, I guess you could
Juice
say.
inspired, juice centric.
Um, Juice centric. I like that.
Mm.
And it's going to focus more on what I feel like my purpose is, and my team, our natural talents, and we're just going to build off of that. Keep people within what they naturally do, and expand from that. And I feel like I want everybody to work for themselves. Like everybody on my team, I have a goal for us to all work for ourselves and make a lot of money
Mm.
doing so. So I think we're all at a place right now where we're just tired of working for the man. You know what I'm
All of
saying?
us. That
We put it,
pandemic, it
yeah,
shook a lot of people up. I'm
yeah,
one of
it
them.
did.
Like, nah, man, I
It
can't go
really
back to
did.
that. Which I'm gonna go back to
Yeah,
that until I don't have to
yeah.
anymore.
Got it's a tool. I shout out to my 9 to 5 because I use it as a tool to fund what I really want in life.
Yeah.
And I feel like everybody should. Don't get so like, oh my god, I've been here too long because I was never expecting to be here at my job so long. I think we'll be 10 years in this year, And I'm just like, wow, like I thought I should have been fired year one. So it's really a blessing
Oh Lord.
to have a job to go to. And, my job's taught me so much. It taught me how to work with people, how to have great customer service,
Mm.
how to be an overall great communicator. So that's what I don't want people to get discouraged in where you are currently. Really use where you are
Mm-hmm.
to lead you to where you want to be. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like that's exactly what I did with my job. Like it's taught me so much. So
That's
my
awesome.
goals this year is all about execution. So that's the goal here, and hopefully I'm going to put this degree to work for myself.
I hear that. Masters,
That's the
right?
goal.
You're a master's holder, aren't you?
Yeah, yep.
Yeah.
In human resource management, everybody's like, "Oh, you can get a job anywhere," and I'm like, "I applied everywhere," and no, I know I cannot.
What is it? Not what you know, but who you know. Just
Yeah,
keep
that's true.
networking. Keep putting out good work,
That
and
is
you'll be just
true.
fine. All
Yeah,
right.
and
So
I had this vision years ago. Like I got this vision of working for myself. I saw this major company, and it's gonna happen. I just have to stay consistent, get organized, and execute. And that's where I'm at right now.
okay. Now where can we find
Yeah.
you? Shout out your gram and all that good social media stuff. And
Yes.
are we to expect some more Juice episodes?
Yeah. Juice episodes coming soon. Mostly live. We're gonna be doing a lot of live things because, like I said, equipment wise, we're working on some back end things to get me back to the real show because I look at our old shows and I'm like, man, I was really sleeping on myself and everybody around me. Like it was such a good show, and I want to get back to those, real talk shows that we used to do. And it will come back eventually, but I just want to make sure it's
Mm.
done correct this time and a real goal behind it.
Yeah.
So those are coming soon. You can follow us right now. We've been trying to take over social media. That's the goal right now, to really focus on our brand ambassador side. And right now we are attacking social media. And I just reintroduced my girls. So now everybody will know who's a part of Juice, who to reach out to, because we're all small owners of Juice. Yes, please follow us at Instagram. You can follow us at Juice Me Daily at Instagram. On Facebook is Juice Daily. On YouTube, it is TV by Juice, no spaces. You can also follow us. Clubhouse. We're about to attack Clubhouse big time. So,
I could
um,
use all kinds of education on that. I don't know if it's something I want to even dabble in. That seems pretty addictive.
no, it is, and I like it because it's really simple. Just from the ones I've been listening to, like not the more professional ones, like the ones I listen to the professional ones, which they can get. You'll need some strategy behind the more professional ones, but there's one. I mean, there's so many different ways you can use Clubhouse. You can just vibe out. People have it where they just play music, like, "Hey, check out this soundtrack. What y'all think about it?" And it's
Yeah.
just like an open discussion, and I love it because people can interact with you. So we're about to start doing Clubhouse Sundays, so you can follow us on Clubhouse at Juice Me Daily. Also check out our Juneteenth website because that's like our big event that we do every year. Juneteenth, we try to get the word out about it, celebrate our people, celebrate where we come from, and really showcase our local businesses, entrepreneurs, artists, and just bring the community together, all in the name of Juneteenth. So if you would like to be involved in that, please follow us or visit our website at www.tnjuneteenth.com. And you can sign up to be a vendor, a volunteer. You can sign up for the contest available, or just check out how long we've been doing this. The history's on there, and so just check it out. We'd love to have you. I think that's it. Let me think.
Well, y'all are everywhere. I'm a filibuster
We
for you
are.
while you think about that. You ever think about possibly doing like a view sort of thing, especially with y'all's schedules and your personal lives, and you got your own things going on? Like maybe do a little shorter, like maybe 3 or 4 ladies at a time, and just kind of rotate who it is.
That might be a good idea. And I kind of want to get more behind the cameras. I want to be to the point where I'm producing shows and not
Mm,
just mine. I want to be behind the camera and just, making sure questions are being answered or asked and
okay,
people are being showcased properly.
producer.
I like to produce. I like to curate. That's like one of my biggest things. I curate events. I curate your ideas. Any people call me all the time to help them in anything that they got going on. Like I said, my goal is to just help people reach full potential in whatever they choose. So and people they see the work that we do, and they, you know, I guess I ain't gonna say they. I'm just rambling now.
No,
Hold
it's
on.
fine.
So
Look, some of my shows have been 2 or 3 hours, so be careful.
I saw that. I was like, dang. Let me skip.
You know I can talk. You know I can talk, man. Yeah, but there you have it.
So, yeah.
There you have it, the wonderful Jay Lee. Thank you so much for joining me. I love you, and
Thanks for having me.
I can't wait to see y'all again. Kiss them babies for me.
Thank you. I sure will. You do the same.
Shout
love
out
you.
JoJo. Shout out Julie, Jazz, Mom, everybody.
Yeah, shout out to What the Frap, man.
What the Frap? Oh, I know. I gotta start saying the word. I say it all the time. That's why I named it that. And then I get on this daggum show and don't even say it.
Don't say it. But yeah, it was fun. I like doing this. I like to come back.
What do you think?
Ready.
No, look, you come back as often as you want. I've been trying to get you.
For real. I know. I'm ready now.
I was like, be patient.
I see the vibe.
Be patient.